Well, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. And on here, we like to be a little more intimate and laid back and get to know the people that we're talking to, get some positive messages and inspire people. These particular episodes, we're going to be interviewing people that are on our podcasts, so you get to know them a little bit better. And we have Mr. Ben Stephenson, and he has a group called Central Utah Paranormal. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And anyway, he, as the name says, has a paranormal show. And I'm gonna tell you what, he started putting his videos up on YouTube, and they've been blowing up. And I really appreciate everyone that's been loyal and listening to us and watching our videos. And please continue to do so and spread the word, because Ben here has been getting some great people on his show. It's amazing, man, how you do it.
I just ask them. I don't know. I just hope they say yes.
Well, as I said, Ben, we just want to get to know you. So let's hear about you, like where you grew up and, all your deep, dark secrets, what you do when the doors are closed. No, I'm kidding. Just tell us about you.
Okay, just when the doors are open then. So I grew up in a really, really small town. Our population's like maybe 2,400 tops.
Wow.
So yeah, we don't have a whole lot of people here, even like in our county. So I call our group Central Utah Paranormal, but our county has the largest landmass with the most things to do as far as the outdoors, but the least amount of people. So our entire county is the biggest one in Utah, but there's only about 11,000 people.
Wow. So I guess everybody knows everyone around there, huh?
Yeah. Your mom knew what you did before you got home from school. Yeah.
That's the worst, isn't it?
Yes. But the cool thing about where we live is, like, if you were in my backyard and you look to the west, there's volcanoes and lava tubes in the desert and sagebrush. But if you just make a 180 and look the other direction, you have mountains and canyons, and you have everything you could need. It's all right here.
Oh, dude. So, you got to grow up doing all the cool stuff, going to the woods and stuff and shooting guns and all that.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the life, man.
Yeah, I can't complain. Like, my dad always raised us with like four-wheelers, and if we weren't camping, we were on a four-wheeler, just enjoying the outdoors, which is one of his greatest loves. So he passed that on to me too.
Oh, that's awesome. All I got to do was work on air conditioners.
That's no good.
That's what my dad did for a living. So, if I wasn't in school, I was putting in duct work and stuff like that. And I didn't really get to do a whole lot of that outdoorsy stuff until I got to go work on my uncle's farm for a while. But man, that's the life, dude. I envy you.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. Just trying to think of anything else. Just growing up here, I always liked it. I moved away for a while. I've lived in California for a couple years in the Sacramento area.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's too expensive. Crazy and expensive. No offense to any of our California viewers.
No. I'm just teasing.
Yeah, it was. Oh, there was a lot of great things to do there, and I met a lot of great people there, but I just couldn't afford it.
I understand that. I had cousins that lived out there. It was definitely expensive.
Yeah. But after that, I ended up moving back home, trying to get, back on my feet, earn some money. So my parents were gracious enough to let me live with them for a couple of years, and ended up meeting my wife at a country dance, of all the places to meet. A beautiful woman. But met her and got married, and we ended up living in southern Utah for a while, which was good too. We were just finishing up our college and things like that. My wife works in the blood work business. She's a lab technician.
Oh, okay.
So she enjoys that. So that's what she got her schooling and her degree in. I did mine in criminology.
Oh, wow.
So I got to learn all about all the different theories and like you to apply them to serial killers or genocides or just things that were going on in the world at that time.
Man, you have a more interesting life than I do, I'll have to say.
It was fun. I like that. But now I'm a corrections officer. So I do that. I hang out with inmates all day.
Oh boy. I've got 20-year-old kids running around here with all their friends, and I don't know what's worse, the criminals or these kids.
Yeah.
So which college did you go to?
I started at UVU, Utah Valley University, when I was 19-ish, and then they changed all of their prices and stuff. I remember when I started there, and it's crazy to watch how colleges will do this or universities, but when I started there, your tuition was only about $1,600 a semester, which isn't too terrible, especially in Utah.
Right.
And then after 2 years there, the third year, it was almost $3,600 a semester.
Good
I was
grief.
like, I have to go make money again. So I had to put mine on hold. And then I went to California for a while and came back and finished my degree at Dixie State University in St. George.
Okay. So are you a Utes fan?
I am. I never went to the school, but if I had to pick one in Utah, I'd pick the Utes. Dixie was terrible. Their football team won one game in the 2 years that I was there.
So y'all have what, Utah State and BYU and
Yeah, U of U. I think Utah State's in Logan. But yeah, the big ones. Those are probably the three big ones.
okay. And so how in the world did you get into the paranormal?
So it all like I had experiences growing up, like here and there, but I think as a child you kind of put those off. Like
Mm-hmm.
not that you necessarily ignore them, but you don't really understand what's happening, you
I
know.
know. Yeah, believe me, I know.
And so after like I can't even really think of like a verbatim like experience that happened to me as a kid, but as I grew up, I began to recognize them better. And as far as like where my religion would come in my spirituality would help me, but like I would just I learned more about myself. I learned more about things that I understood, things that I could see and hear. And you try and explain that to somebody and they just think you're crazy, you know.
Yeah. Well, the things that I experienced as a kid, I just kind of, I guess, put it off to the side as it was something that was in my mind. And it wasn't until I was older that I realized what I had experienced. So, I know exactly what you mean. You just kind of like put that away. And I used to preach, and I preached for like 5 years and was real big into the church. And I was a Baptist at the time. And,
Mhm.
that helped me to grow. But then I learned that, and I don't want anybody to get offended by this, but I'm not a religious person because I feel like religion is more of man-made, and it's man's rules, not so much what God wants. And so I became more spiritual, and I got away from organized religion, and that helped me to actually get closer to God. And so, I mean, is that kind of the experience you had, or are you more of the organized religion?
I'm you could say I'm in an organized religion. Just where my beliefs and everything comes from. I don't talk about mine very much just because there's just so many different things with religion these days, and people will either accept that or they just get offended. So I just want them to like me for me, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
like if people personally want to talk to me about my beliefs and kind of how that helped form me, that's fine. I don't mind doing that on a personal level, but I've just found there's such a separation with religions. And for me, like I have friends that are Baptist, Wiccan, um, Christian, Catholic. You know, I have friends or all of those different. I don't know if you consider Wiccan a denomination, but
Actually, yes, it is a religion.
is it? I just didn't know if you'd call it a denomination or not. But
That I'm not so sure if you call it such a denomination, but
yeah,
it is a religion. In fact, my wife is Wiccan,
okay,
and you know I accept that,
yeah,
and she accepts what I believe. And everybody has to have their own structure and how they want to move forward in this life. And if organized religion is, you know, what you believe in, then I strongly say, hey, you go for it.
hmm
Everybody has their different way of thinking, and there's no reason why we can't get along. Now, if you ask me, I don't believe that there should just be one religion. That's wrong. Everybody should be free to believe how they want to.
yeah, and that's what I believe too. I
Exactly.
I try not to push any of my beliefs on anyone. Like they are what I believe, and that's what I believe. You know, so
And
and
it
but
should be.
I respect that for everyone else for any way that they believe or how they live their life. That's one of the things freedom of religion has always been one of the very big things for me.
And this world needs to learn how to respect other people's beliefs. You
hmm
don't have to accept their beliefs,
hmm
but you should accept the person for who they are.
Yeah.
Respect. That's what this world needs to learn again. I think we've gotten away from that. That's how I believe.
No. No.
take,
I under.
take, take it or leave it, you know?
Yeah. I'm in the same boat.
And so you have a little one, huh?
I do, just a little teeny one.
And how old is your baby?
Um, Show's almost 9 months.
9 months. Wow. Those are good times.
Yeah, she's my favorite. She's my little lady.
Yeah, we got a new grandbaby around here, so I know exactly what you mean. It's going to be 6 weeks old the end of this month. So, excuse me, the end of this week, and it's been really exciting having another little one. But I have to say, I'd rather be a grandparent than a parent
Yeah,
nowadays.
because you can love them, and then you can be here. You go.
Yep. Time to change the diaper. Here you go.
Yeah,
So, how old are you, Ben? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm 30.
30. Man, I remember that like it was almost 20 years ago.
Hey, maybe it was.
That's my running joke.
That's a good one. Remember that one?
Yeah, my family they get so aggravated with me sometimes because I always like to tell the dad jokes.
hmm
So yeah.
I'm gonna have plenty of those soon.
Oh yeah, believe me, and they grow over the years. Well, you know, you have to start learning cleaner jokes when you got little ones running around,
Yes.
and and so yeah, they all become dad jokes.
Yeah, basically, I can see that philosophy there.
So what new do you have going on with Central Utah Paranormal right now?
Um, so we just finished up an investigation recently. Winter kind of put a damper on most of us because we do a lot of historical outdoor, and we had a pretty good cold winter this year, so we haven't been able to go outside as much as we do in the summer and the spring.
Oh, you got to
But
tell me about some of those.
so some of our one of our last ones. Have you ever heard of Topaz?
I know the jewel, but I don't.
hmm So Topaz was a World War II imprisonment camp.
Oh,
So
okay.
just like how it's almost like America's Black Eye kind of a thing. So just how the Germans had work camps for the Jews, after Pearl Harbor, America had work camps for the Japanese.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is a black eye.
it is. And not a lot of people know about it. There was only about 10 in all of the US. But where I was saying earlier, you know how we have the largest land mass with the least amount of people. We had a lot of land here in Utah, and they just I don't know if it was military owned back then, like government owned, but there was all these houses that were put out there, and basically they were taken from their homes against their will, and they were taken out to these different camps, and they were given food to eat and jobs to do. They basically made their own little towns and kind of tried to make their best life that they could out of it.
Mm.
But that's probably one of the darkest places we've ever gone. But it was, I was so upset because when we went out there, have you ever seen any of my videos using dowsing rods to ask questions?
I have to say I haven't yet, but believe
No,
me,
you're good.
I'm going to.
You're good. So we first started learning about different forms of communication as far as like pendulums and dowsing rods, and we were trying to really figure those out, kind of hone them in. And we tried these different ways with dowsing rods, and we just couldn't get them to really respond. And so I kind of like prayerfully, I guess you could say, researched, trying to find maybe there was a specific one that I needed. You know, it sounds kind of funny. But so I found these dowsing rods, I bought them, and I never do any of it at my house. It's just something I don't want to bring around my child or my wife, you know. So I always do it outside. I never do it in my house.
Right.
But just in case, because sometimes you invite something good and sometimes it's not. And I'm usually trying to invite the good. But so I learned how to train them, and I got them to work, but they'd only work for me. I learned, like, I couldn't give them to someone else and say, hey, try this. And if they started asking questions or tried to train them, they would get no response. But then if I used them, they would. So we get out to Topaz, and it's just before sunset. So just perfect lighting, didn't need any lights. And we did this whole session, and we asked all these questions and got all of these answers. And then when we went to rewatch the video and check for EVPs, the cover over the speaker never got taken off of the camera. So all you see is the rods moving, cross for yes and parallel for no,
Mm-hmm.
and no sound. No sound at all. So when we were out there, we were asking, like, how did you enjoy your life? Or like, did you enjoy your life? Like, yes or no. And we tried it in different places, and we got yes at a few places. And then when we started to get the no's, then we could, you know, progress. Like, why did you not like enjoy your life? Like, was it hard? Were you abused? Were you held here against your will? You know, things like that. And you started to learn the darker truths that or at least that particular spirit was not happy. It did not do well. And just how terrible the conditions were. But it's really one of those, it's worth looking up, just the history of it, because you'll never hear about it. You'll never see it in a history book, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, we have so much history like that. I mean, from the time that early Europeans got here,
Mm-hmm.
and with the Native Americans, and, you know, and to hear something about like work camps for the Japanese. I mean, you hate to think that was part of our history. And
Yeah.
we definitely don't want to regress and go back to that kind of thing again. I mean,
I agree.
The slavery and things we had in this country, it hurts you to your heart when you think about those kind of things. And I'm being sincere. I'm not just saying this to be saying it.
Yeah.
You know, I hate to think that was part of our history. The thing is people have realized that was then. That's not now.
Yeah.
Most of us do not feel that way. I mean, if you're a decent human being, you don't feel that way. You don't want that kind of thing going on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But to get back to the dowsing rods, you know, I have experience with dowsing rods, and it all started because I worked in the water department.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's how we would find water lines and things like that. And if people don't think it works, they need to try it, because it does. And we started using it when we were doing investigations as well. And I mean, it's worked for all of us. but we all, in our group, we all have somebody that has some kind of abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And so you always let the spirits decide how they want to answer. You tell me what's yes, and they'll either make them
Mm-hmm.
go out or they make them go in.
Yeah.
And I don't know which kind of dowsing rods you have, but we have like handles, so you're not moving it yourself.
Yeah.
You're just
That's the
holding the
kind I
handle.
have.
I think those are the best, and they work.
Yeah.
And if people aren't using them, I recommend that they go and get some. At
Yeah.
least try it, see if you like it.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we've found. So as far as like when we've done our investigations, we've only been able to help a couple people as far as like besides our own stuff that we had going for ourselves. Around here, I guess it might just be a Utah thing. A lot of people know it's there or there's something there, but they don't want to know about it. It can just be there, and that's fine. But we find we're more communication based. We have all kinds of different tools, and like we have a periscope, which helps with electromagnetic fields. We have EMF readers and things like that. But we've been trying to use an electronic device with I guess you could call it an archaic device. I mean, people have been using dowsing rods for water winching for years and years and years and years.
Oh yeah.
But so that way you can see the old way still works. And then if you can get something manifesting on one of your electronic devices at the same time, I feel like your evidence is so much stronger at that point.
It seems like the old-fashioned ways of doing things work better, at least to me.
Yeah.
The simplest things like the recorders and video cameras and things like that. So it's a little more modern, but that's probably the most modern devices we have that work so well. Now, I will say I do enjoy the K2 meter.
Yes, me too.
But the other stuff that we have that's a little more sophisticated, I don't know. I don't trust it as much. So
Yeah. But that's what we've found is we're just more communication based. We can help people make contact, learn about it, or for ourselves, go to a historic site. We don't even know if there's activity there, and just to search for it to see what we can find and to make some kind of communication. And for me, I'd like to have Randy as a co-host on my show every once in a while, my partner, because he's amazing. Like sometimes they'll want to talk to me and sometimes they'll want to talk to him. But 90% of the time they want to talk to Randy. And we just go out, and Randy's so funny. He reminds me of like a tubular surfer dude from the 70s. Yeah.
Hang loose, man.
Hey man, what's up? How's it going? Like, but he's my buddy. But we go out anywhere. We go anywhere, and he just gets this little recorder, and he's like, "Hey, my name's Randy, and I'm here to talk to you." And they're just like, "Hi, Randy," every single time.
That's freaking awesome.
So I love having him.
Why is it certain people in your group just seem to draw the spirits and get those kind of things more than the others do? It's so annoying sometimes.
It can be. Like, I'll go out by myself and I'll get nothing, and I'll be like, well, if Randy was here, we'd have everything.
Dude, I have to meet this guy.
You'd like Randy a lot.
I like people in general, but I just those kind of people fascinate me, especially when they have their kind of own way, their own aura about them. Like you say, the surfer dude.
Yeah. And he reminds me of oh man, nope, never mind. It just left me. But
Spicoli.
Yeah. But when I met Randy, it was we worked together. He's a nurse, and he was an ER nurse for like 25 years, like a night shift ER nurse. So he's seen everything, anything and everything. He's seen some crazy stuff in his life.
Dude, do they have stuff that goes on in the prison?
I would think so, here and there, just because of what happens there,
Yeah.
I feel like there'll always be a certain darkness there.
Because I mean, we got like Huntsville, and there's a few other places around, like outside Mont Belvieu here in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt works out there, and she was never one that ever talked about that kind of stuff until she started working nights out at the prison.
Yeah.
She's like, you wouldn't believe what happened, and you won't believe what I saw.
Yeah.
Damn, I would love to get into a place like that, but
Yeah.
I guess security and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I feel like most things, like even if things do happen, they kind of try and push you away from talking about anything.
Right.
They're almost like, to me, it almost feels like when you're retired, you can say whatever you want. But until you're retired, you're just like, yep, it's jail.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Uh-huh.
It's almost worth doing one of those 60 days in, but you wouldn't be able to take equipment with you. So,
Yeah. You get nothing. That's the sad thing. I mean, if I could take stuff in, I'd be in heaven. But
I couldn't imagine trying to get a K2 meter in there, like up your butt or something.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh man, I wish I could tell you some stories, but I can't. Not personal.
Yeah, maybe I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So outside the paranormal, what do you like to do?
I'm a music guy. I'm a big music nerd.
Oh, sweet.
So my dad raised me basically. Like I remember, of course, when I was growing up, it was cassette tapes until I was about 9 or 10, I think, when CDs came out, which sounds so weird to say right now.
Right.
But my dad always had AC/DC. AC/DC's always been my favorite band.
Oh, yeah.
My entire life, just because they were my dad's favorite. So basically I grew up with Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Megadeth, Metallica, Def Leppard, Boston, the Eagles, and I listen to a lot heavier stuff now, but that was my childhood. That's the music that I love.
So you know how you know when you're old? It's when you walk into a store and they're playing the music you listened to in high school over the intercom.
Yeah.
See, when I was growing up, it was 8-track tapes, dude.
Yeah.
And so I remember Kiss being a newer band when I was growing up. 70s were like the best. I'm sorry, they were the best.
They are some of the best. I would agree. But
yeah, music. I mean, I know we've shared music back and forth over Instagram and that kind of stuff, and it's been awesome. I'm like, oh, you know what? This is the kind of dude I like to hang out with.
Yeah.
Because I can't I'm sorry. I know a lot of people love it, but I can't get into the hip hop and rap and stuff. It's just, it annoys me. And
me too.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be offensive to other folks. When it comes to that, you enjoy what kind of music you like.
Yeah.
Because like my kids are into this Lana Del Rey and the Selena Gomez, all these ones you've seen on the kids channels. Disney, that kind of stuff, and that's great for you. But give me that good old rock and roll and heavy metal.
Yep, I'm finding myself looking at my CDs right here next to me and just thinking about how great all of them are. But I also I don't know if you can see them behind me. My guitars are behind me.
Oh, cool.
I'm a music guitar nerd. I'm saving up for a new electric because mine broke. It just died on me like 7 months ago, and there's no repairing it.
Oh no! So what do you have? Like a Fender Strat or something?
I just had just pieces of different guitars turned into one. Basically, it was a really good starter, like for an electric. But I started with acoustic, so I can still play metal and stuff on my acoustic. Like I can plug it in and throw my distortion on and have a good time, but it's just not the same.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I'm saving up for a new Schecter right now.
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna take me some time, but I miss playing my metal so much.
Well, you can shred on those. Okay, tongue tied right now. Schecter.
The Schecters.
Schecter. I get that way sometimes. My brain, it happens with the older you get.
No, it's happening now for me, so I can only imagine.
Well, I have a Fender Squire bass, and
Oh,
so I'm trying to learn. I know little bits and pieces of songs, but I
mhm.
just don't have that brain that can pick up a whole freaking song.
Yeah.
But my
I,
mom can play the piano like nobody's business.
mhm. I came from a music family, so like we all can play something. But like my sister, I feel like she got all the talent. She could play and memorize anything. Like I started with piano when I was like 9, and 4 months in, my piano teacher wanted me to play some Swan Princess song at a recital, and I told her not just no, no.
Hell no.
So my mom was like, well, then you're not going to do piano lessons then. And I was like, whatever. I didn't care. But then as I got older, I taught myself by ear, because that's kind of how I learned how to play guitar too. I just learned by ear. But
Yeah, that's basically what I've done. Yeah, like Walking on the Moon from the Police. And of
mhm.
course, the first thing anybody in our genre seems to learn is Smoke on the Water.
Yeah,
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah, the four easiest chords in the world.
And Iron Man,
Yep, yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah. I remember we always learned the first song I ever learned on guitar was "Every Rose Has Its Thorn," and I feel that that's everybody that has an acoustic guitar too.
Oh, you have to.
Yeah, yeah,
So you're going to have to teach me. So we're going to have to figure out how to, me get to Utah and you get to Texas.
yeah. It's doable.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I moved away from Houston, moved up here to Austin, and this is the music scene up here. So, yeah, you have to make a trip out here
Yeah,
at least once.
I'm sure it's great.
You heard that they canceled South by Southwest.
Oh no.
Yes, because of this whole coronavirus, they decided that they just didn't want to take the chance, and it's sad because that's an institution here.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows music and arts and stuff like that, they know about South by Southwest, and it's sad.
Yeah. That is sad. I mean, I was sad because like this might be Ozzy's last tour ever, and I saw him when I was 18 or 19, and he postponed for the coronavirus too.
It sucks because, man, those guys, they're getting so old and they're not going to be able to play very much longer. And
Yeah.
when, we got the Rolling Stones coming here, and wished I had the money to go. I wanted to
Yeah.
see them at least once.
Yeah.
I can't say I've seen Ozzy 3 times.
That's so good. Oh, I'm jealous.
Dude, the first time was Ozfest, and that was like back in 2000, I believe. And he had like Godsmack was first coming out, and they were
Mhm.
there. And oh my God, we had Pantera, and gosh, I can't even think of all of them. But I mean, it was all day long. So you had,
Yeah.
and there was different stages, so you got to go around check them out. Tommy Lee was out there with Methods of Mayhem,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm sorry, Tommy, I love you, dude, but Methods of Mayhem sucked.
Yeah.
He's gonna end up beating the hell out of me one day.
No, I've seen Motley Crue twice. Well, when they had, you remember when they had Crew Fest for a while?
Yes.
Yeah, I loved Crew Fest.
I think the one I went to was Carnival of Souls.
Mm-hmm. Or Carnival of Sins.
Carnival of Sins.
Yeah,
You're right.
that one was a great one. Yeah.
The only complaint I had was it was so loud, you almost couldn't tell what they were playing.
Mm-hmm. I've had a few of those too.
I saw Ozzy with Anthrax.
Oh,
That was freaking awesome.
I saw him with Rob Zombie and In This Moment.
Ooh, Rob Zombie's great.
I love Rob Zombie live was amazing because like I loved Rob Zombie. Then I saw him live and I really loved Rob Zombie.
I know. Can you believe how short he is though?
I know. And then like he has his cheerleaders were like taller than Rob Zombie. I was like, oh, this is weird.
I saw him with Godsmack, and I also saw him with Lamb of God, Five Finger Death Punch, and Korn.
Oh, okay, that's a
That
good lineup too.
that was up in Dallas. That was worth the trip, man.
Yeah, I feel like I listen to a lot of American metal, but most of the metal I listen to is from other countries, so they like never come to the U.S. So I never really get to see some of my favorite bands. But
I'm probably butchering the name, but you know, Amon Amarth, or however you
Amon
say it.
Amarth,
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
yeah,
That's it.
they're one of my favorites. Yeah,
I love those guys because it's like the Viking feel to
Mhm.
them, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's like my heritage. So all the Viking metal resonates with me.
Man, see, now that's something else we can talk about because there's something about the whole Viking, their way of life and the whole culture that I was so drawn to it that's kind of like my thing, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me.
I don't even know how much I could even tell you about them per se. Just that I love their music. I don't want to. I don't want to lead anyone astray with my lack of Viking knowledge. But
I'm gonna have to hook you up with this guy's name's Ragnar,
oh,
and I've interviewed him before, or I think it's Ragnar, something like. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchered that too. Say the brain. I'll look it up, but I've interviewed him, and the guy is so steeped in knowledge, it will blow your mind.
mm-hmm.
And he's wonderful to talk to. In fact, you should have him on your show sometime.
I would do that. I'd love that.
Dude, you just start out with saying, "Hey, this is my Lost Souls podcast, and here he is," and the guy will come out, and you just don't even want to interrupt him because he's so interesting.
That's awesome.
Excuse
Yeah,
me.
that's the other kind of. I mean, I don't know. I could talk about music all day. Like that's one of my things too. Like I could. That's the kind of singing I could do. Is that those low gutturals and all that different kind of metal screaming. And I mean, it takes forever. Like it's not like people think you just come out and scream, but you don't. Like it's from your stomach. It's not from your throat. And if you do it wrong, you're never going to talk again.
Oh, no kidding. Like King Diamond,
Oh yeah.
how he can start out kind of like a regular tone, and all of a sudden he hits those high notes,
Yeah.
and you're like, dude, this blows your mind, you know?
Yeah. How? I can't do that. I can't do that stuff. That's too high for me.
Oh, I love it. I'm loving we're talking about music. That's my favorite thing in the world.
Mine too.
I just don't know what I'd do if I didn't have music in my life. I probably wouldn't be here right now if it weren't for music.
Yeah.
And then you get to meet some of these people and get to know them. You know, White Snake, I'm not White Snake, I'm sorry, Great White.
Mm-hmm.
And the lead singer, I guess he left the band or something. I don't know, because I know they'd had some trouble for a while, but they got this singer, his name's Mitch Malloy, and I actually sometimes get to talk back and forth with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's an awesome guy. And you see that they're trying to keep that music alive, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Rat is coming to town,
I
and
love Rat.
they're bringing a bunch of those old bands like Tom Kiefer from Cinderella, and I have to look at the rest of the lineup. But dude, don't you just love the fact that that stuff is still sticking around after all these
Yeah.
years?
Yeah. And I just loved all that music back then too, because that's one thing I don't like about a lot of the newer metal is just because like I don't feel like the same passion is there. Like I get tired of all the just how vulgar they feel they need to be when they don't need to be. But that's just a personal view, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, I can kind of see it being part of the song,
Yeah.
but it just seems like music and movies and comedy in general. Everybody's got to be so vulgar when they're doing it. Like that's has how you have to be funny.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I mean, we had our comedians that were vulgar, our Richard Pryors and George Carlins and stuff like that. But then you had the other ones that were not vulgar and they were just as funny.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, those old Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis movies.
Hmm.
I don't know how many people would appreciate them, but that was comedy to me. That's what I grew
Hmm.
up watching.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it was before my generation, that's what they showed on television, and I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up, we just had cable. So we watched Three's Company and um, those shows. I just can't think of some of the other names.
Gosh, Three's Company was kind of pushing the boundaries,
Yeah.
and now it's tame compared to the stuff that comes out
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think, like, back to what you said previously, for me, it's more like, it's even not so much the metal and stuff that's super vulgar these days. It's the rap music, and that's what I just can't do. Can't.
I don't know.
Unless it's,
Why do people feel like they have to be vulgar to be funny or to be talented?
yeah.
You know?
It's just part of my millennial generation, I
So I'm Generation X.
guess. I'm sadly a millennial, apparently.
Generation X. That was a great band. Billy Idol's first band.
Yeah.
You can go on and on. I can pull up all kinds of old music if you want to.
Oh, I could too. If I turned on my other computer, we could have a heyday.
So is there anything else that you like to do?
Yeah, I mean, I like to go for rides in the mountains. I love to go camping. That's something we always try to do. So now that we have a little one, it's more like trying to find different ways to keep her comfortable and things. But we still always have found a way since she was born. We've always found a way to go camping.
Well, that's awesome. So anything else coming up on your show that we're going to be excited to hear about?
I got a couple people coming up. I have one practicing Gray Witch. Her name's Jillian. I have Natalie Jones that's coming up really soon. And we're also working on a investigation for one of our locals. They have he's still sick right now, so he's waiting till he feels better. But him and his family have been seeing an apparition of a tall cowboy in their home.
Ooh.
And he will either look at them and dissipate right there, or he'll look at them and they'll watch him turn around slowly and walk away and dissipate. But they said you can see his gun belt. You can see it's like Western, old school, old West cowboy in his house.
Dude.
It gives me chills talking
no
about
kidding.
it.
Did they have any pictures or video or anything?
No, they've never been able to catch any. So
Ah.
we just we're trying to find that. Well, when he's feeling up to it, get the times of see if the time of day matters, and just set up some of our cameras, set up some night vision, and see if we can't get at least that on the video and try and communicate with it.
If you get any, you have to post it to our social media.
Oh, I will.
And so everybody who's listening or watching us on YouTube, if you will go to Instagram, and it's Central
.utah.paranormal.
Okay, I couldn't remember if it was dot or if it was dash, because I have so many dashes in ours. And on Facebook,
it's the same on Facebook too. Central.utah.paranormal.
Okay, awesome. Do you have any other social media that you use?
I do have a Twitter. I feel like it gets kind of put on the back burner a lot just because I do so much with Instagram and Facebook that I don't have a lot of time for the others. I've been trying to set up a Patreon just for local stuff here to sell merchandise and things like that. But for now, it's mostly just the Facebook and the Instagram.
Now, we will be setting up a Patreon for our podcast network, and everybody will be able to put their stuff on there for sale and that kind of thing. And of course, we will have a central place where everybody can sell their T-shirts and what other merchandise they might have. Mm-hmm. And I want everyone to realize that we're not selling these things just to be making money. It goes back into our paranormal research and Ben's same as we are. We don't charge people for this. This is something that we do because we want to help people and we love people, you know, and you know, sometimes they just need either the confirmation that they're not crazy or they might need help getting rid of something. Now, all this comes out of our pockets because we love to do it. And so it goes back to that. Or like for the network, we try to promote the network as best we can. And the reason why we sell the merchandise is to go back into, you know, making the network so much better. And I feel like everybody's doing such a great job with what little we have as far as resources.
Yeah.
And Ben, I appreciate your support and the things that you do, and your show is awesome. And I recommend everybody go check it out. It's The Lost Souls, and it is part of the Vibes Broadcast Network. Ben, our time is up. It has flown by, man.
It has.
Is there anything that you'd like to say before we go, just as an inspiration to other folks?
I'd just like to say, like, first, thank you to you, Kyle. I mean, you've done so well with all of this and inviting us to be a part of it. It really means a lot to us. Thank you to everyone that's also joined the broadcast network. I don't want to name names because I don't want to forget any and miss someone. I feel like we're getting quite a few on there now. And just if you are wanting to do this and you're nervous, like to be a paranormal investigator or to do paranormal research, just remember it's okay. Like, to me, there's no normal like the paranormal, and you're always going to have some people that don't understand, and that's okay. If it's something you want, something you love, and something you enjoy, then you should pursue it.
Exactly. And you know what? Skepticism makes our job that much more meaningful.
It does.
Because you work harder to try to prove these things. If somebody has doubts, that's actually good for us, because that makes us think, okay, well then how can we prove that this is true?
Yeah.
Agreed?
I agree completely.
And if you're out there and you would like to join our network, just contact me at the Vibes Broadcast on Instagram, and we're the Vibes Broadcast Network on Facebook. And let me see what you have. We'll take a look at it, and we would love to make you part of our family. And that's what I feel like it is. We've got people in California and Utah and all the way out to Tennessee. And, you know, we've all kind of come together. We even have someone in New York, which is Stephanie. And Stephanie Pixie, she has her show Crazy Glue. Chris Hopkins out in Tennessee, he's got Hop Topics. And I'm tell you what, that's blowing up. He's getting a lot of downloads for his show. And it's funny because he's like around all the wrestlers and stuff, so he gets to talk like Mick Foley and Chris Jericho and people like that. And so I'm looking forward to those kind of interviews.
Oh, me too.
And of course we got good old Ben here with Lost Souls, and we have Psychic Jen, who's out in California, and she has Mystical Mayhem. And of course I have Into the Pit, and we have I do this wonderful show, the Listen to the Vibes, and you know, I've got people that are wanting to come on board, and they're working and trying to get their stuff up and running. Hey, we'd love to have you part of our family, and I think we could really make something special out of this. I mean, it's already pretty darn special for what we have.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate your time, and I feel like I've talked over you the whole time.
Oh, no, this has been a good conversation. I appreciated it.
Sorry, I keep hitting the table. But anyways, and also we have Braxton Strickland, who does our editing. And if anybody's interested in his work, I don't want to say over the air because I don't want to get it wrong how much he charges. But let me tell you what, it's well worth it. He does a great job, because, you know, somebody like me screws up all the time. It makes his job that much harder. But anyway, thank you again, and thank y'all for coming and watching us and listening to us. It means a lot that we have people that take time out of their day to make us a part of it. And
Yeah.
please check out all our shows. Ben, want to say goodbye?
Hey, have a good day, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Take care, brother.
You too.
Po boy.